Just Mr. Sledge. I've had enough of this. I'm bored. It's a real job.
Oh, he gets very stressed out at times and that. If two people are stressed out and you're working together like that, you've got to just walk away from it, have a chill, come back to it straight ahead, basically. But if the work's important and it's got to be done, and that, we all have to knuckle down and get on with it.
Perseverance pays off, and the mantlet finally breaks free.
I've never been held back by thinking I can't do it. Just say that you can do it and get on with it. I'm off, I think. They just lift off.
January 25th, 1945. After 40 days of intense fighting, the German offensive had collapsed. The Battle of the Bulge was over. The men of the 11th Armored Division resumed training in their new Comets. The tank's speed, thicker armor, and bigger gun were appreciated by the men. And soon, they were ready for the final push into Germany. With the mantlet gone, the crew is ready to remove the turret.
Turret complete is, I think, about 6.5 tons. We've taken out the gun, the mantlet, the breech ring, all the extra bits. There's probably about 4 tons left. Now we've got the turret off, let's just shove the thing back indoors, because I've had a gutful and I'm shagged out. Maybe for scrap, man.
The crew takes a needed break, because the toughest part of the teardown is about to begin. With the turret gone, Dave's crew can now lift the engine deck and pull out the engine and gearbox. Bob and Ginge are going to tackle the engine. Ginge is a retired British tank driver. Bob is a vehicle electrics expert. They both know how to fix a tank engine.
Bob and Ginge are going to have a real job to get the gearbox and engine out. It's all been underwater and all the bolts have completely rusted away and lost their heads. I wouldn't want to do it. That's why I'm sending them in there to do it.
The Comet was powered by a 600 horsepower Meteor engine, one of the most powerful tank engines of its day.
Hang on. Dave said stop for some reason. That's got to be well clear.
As long as there's no cracks in the blocks and stuff like that, we can probably reuse that. Try and take it apart, get all the pistons through.
But after 60 years of neglect, this engine is a wreck.
The water had collected in the back of the tank, so the gearbox was actually underwater. So again, all that you can see the state it's in. Once I've managed to get them out, it just involved a lot of hitting it with a sledgehammer. As you may have noticed, we hit a lot of things with sledgehammers.
The Meteor engine was built by Rolls-Royce in 1944.
The Meteor engine is a V12 60-degree inclined 27-litre petrol engine. 600 horsepower is its output.
It's a modified version of the engine that powered the Spitfire. On a tank, the lighter the engine, the more weight can be added to the armor. In 1944, the lightest, most powerful engines around were the gasoline-powered planes built for fighter planes.
And they will go cross-country so fast you can get them airborne. In fact, there's a picture in the manual that's got a small picture of one jumping over a bank, and it says, "This should be avoided."
MTU Friedrichshafen makes the lightest, most powerful tank engines in the world. Instead of using a gasoline-powered aircraft engine, these engineers have developed a high-tech, lightweight diesel.
The diesel technology made such big progress that nowadays modern diesel engines like our products are as compact as comparable aircraft engines have been 30, 40 years ago.
One advantage of a diesel engine is that it can produce greater torque at lower speed.
Because only with high torques, especially at low speeds, you are able to accelerate the tank as fast as the end user wants to do it.
At 63 tons, the modern Leopard 2A6 weighs twice as much as a Comet, but it can move twice as fast. With 1,500 horsepower, it has enough torque to accelerate to 70 kilometers per hour. It has the highest power-to-weight ratio of any tank engine in the world. Without the resources of a German engine factory, it's going to take Bob and Ginge a long time to fix this engine. Now, the final phase of the teardown can begin. First, the wheels come off. Then the side armor is removed to access the suspension.
When we restore the vehicle, unlike some people that would just sandblast and paint the outside of the vehicle, we do it properly. So we take all the side armor off to get to the suspension. And then once we get the side armor off, we're going to actually restore all the suspension and check it all out properly. To get the side armor off, you have to take all of the side armor bolts out. The side armor is in 5 big slabs of side armor. It's 1.8 inches thick. So what we've just done is we've just taken out all the bolts we can get out easily. The next phase is to take out all the countersunk screws that are really difficult to get out. We're heating up the armour plate around the bolts and partially heating up the head of the bolt to expand it to break the rust between the two. It's normally a hell of a job. The bolts are really, really difficult to get out, and each of the side armours weighs about half a tonne. We always try and unscrew them to try and save them because they'd be very expensive to have new ones made.
Each plate of armor weighs half a ton. Safety pins are inserted at the top to hold it in place.
Okay, wedgie wedgie?
Wedgie wedgie?
Wedgie wedgie?
Which one, this wedgie or the long wedgie?
I think that's a lovely looking wedgie wedgie.
Okay.
Wakey wakey! Hidden treasure up in there. That's the best we've ever seen one that we've taken apart yet. Normally they're just complete red rust. I mean, that has still got most of its paint on it still. And that there, that's a suspension spring case, and so's that. That is the damper tube. That's a Comet one. That thin one is actually a Centaur tank one.
The suspension offers a moment of discovery. This Comet has been repaired sometime during the war.
Now we've got all the suspension out, the next job is to sandblast it all, and that's a real horrible, dirty job, and we're going to send young Dave in to do that.
As the Comet is sandblasted and primed, the new front armor is prepped to go on.
Hopefully, once it's blasted and primed, it'll look as good as the day it left the factory. Maybe even better.
March 29th, 1945. The 11th Armored Division mobilized on the west bank of the Rhine River. 832 men with 208 Comet tanks. The invasion of Germany was about to begin. For the Comet, it would be a baptism of fire. The crew at the Isle of Wight Military History Museum have completed the major teardown of their Comet tank. It's time to start putting it back together again. They begin with the front armor.
What we're trying to do is we're trying to put the front of a scrap tank that we've cut this chunk out of into the one that we obviously want to keep. Problems you encounter